As promised, we thought that we would give you a brief introduction to some of the research that is going on in our group at the moment. And we're going to do this in the form of some 3-minute pitches so that you know who your hosts are in the room. And they're going to introduce themselves. And then you have something even more to talk about over lunch. So, these 6 individuals, one of them's not here, she's on maternity leave, are going to introduce to you their research. But basically, the research that we're carrying out here in our group, you could say, is being carried out on 3 different levels. We have development projects where we're working with concrete products, actually producing products and doing demonstrator projects. We're doing projects which are on a sort of second level, looking at, you could say, methodology type projects and different processes. And then we're also doing some work on a strategic level in organizations. So what we're going to show you now is just a very, very brief snapshot of the different projects and where they're fitting on that matrix there. So first of all, we have Ellen.
Hello everybody, I'm Ellen, and I'm on that lower level of sort of more practical projects. So 3 minutes to tell about my 3 years of PhD research that I'm in. It's a challenge, but I'll do my best. So I'm working with dual innovation, which is the combined development of products and technologies, and actually doing them at the same time. So not just first the technology and then a product using the technology, but at the same time. That's the trick here. So that's dual innovation, and what I'm trying to do is add eco-design on top of that. Now, just an example of what dual innovation is, looking way back at the Ford Model T, one of the first industrial design projects, they were developing a conveyor belt or automated assembly in a way, but they also had to redesign the car to be able to be made with that technology. So you're not only developing the new technology for the product, but you're developing the product for the new technology. Now, adding eco-design on top of that is what my research is about. So we have eco-design for product development, which exists, and we have actually too many tools to do that. Daniela will tell a bit more about that. But we also have some eco-design tools for technology development. But what about dual innovation? Can we use the existing tools? Do we have to change the tools? Do we have to make entirely new tools? So that's what I'm working on. Just some keywords, because of course it's a big project. There's lots of things coming in, but I'm using eco-design tools, of course. Also life cycle assessment as an eco-design tool. So how can we use it to design new products? Typically a challenge because we have lots of uncertainties, we don't have all the data available, still a lot of decisions that need to be made. It only gets bigger in dual innovation because we have all those questions about the technology as well. So how can we use life cycle assessment here? I'm working with biodegradability, with technology readiness levels as a way to keep progress of the development project. Requirements definitions of these big complex products, how do we do that? And of course more focused also on technology development. So that's the research side of my work. And to do that, I have an action research going on. So I'm part of a development project for the whole 3 years of my research, which is the green fiber bottle. It is a paper beer bottle as a product, as you can see here. We're developing it together with Carlsberg and EcoExpac. And there's a few guys from EcoExpac here today if you want to talk to them. But on the same time, of course, it's dual innovation, so we have to develop a technology, which in this case is the production technology. So we don't have an off-the-shelf technology to make paper beer bottles. It doesn't exist. So we still have to develop it, and that's part of the project that we're doing. And to do that, we have 3 PhD projects, so it's not just me. First, we have someone working on the mold design. So how do you actually make this bottle? What does the mold look like, and what are its characteristics? There's another PhD working on the process, so how do we use that mold, but also actually put material in and use it, etc. And then there's me working on the bottle itself, so a bit more of a product focus, and also the life cycle around this whole bottle. So from all the raw materials until the end of life, and how does that work from an environmental point of view. So that's my work, and I'd love to talk to you about it more in the breaks. But now on to the next researcher.
Hi guys, am I doing the wrong way? Hi, my name is Aris. I'm a PhD student as well here. I'm from Greece, and I'm working in the maritime industry. That's where my project is. It's a joint project with another PhD student, focusing both on the economic but also the environmental part of the lives of the maritime industry, and trying to assess what's the economic and environmental efficiency of the life cycle of the ship. It is co-founded by a shipping company, so it's kind of interesting because we're doing it from the customer perspective rather than the supplier or the manufacturer or the producer perspective. And as I said, it focuses on the maritime industry. A bit about the maritime industry, for those of you who don't know. I've heard today that there are industries that are worse and pollute even more. I'm really having trouble believing that. Trust me on that. And it's an industry where fuel is cheaper than dirt, basically. We pay 1 kroner per liter. If you go to any gas station, you're going to be paying 14. So it's an industry that doesn't have incentives to be environmentally friendly, but it has incentives to be cost efficient. And what we're trying to do is that we try to see how product service systems can assist on that, how product service systems can do this joint benefit of environmental and economic efficiency. A bit about how we do that. We take the ship as the boundary object, and then we try to do a small screening. What makes sense, what are the hotspots, what makes sense to look at, which phase, which impact. And based on that, identify different subsystems, because the ship is basically a system of systems all embedded and interacting with each other, and trying to see if different PSS business models make sense for each of those systems, and what's the economic and environmental impact of all of them. Now, what I want to say is that ship systems are complex. I just have a small example here from the boiler. You might have a boiler and you might be consuming a lot, or it might be breaking down often. And that's actually the description of your problem. But where is the problem? Is it here, the fuel tanks? Is it here, the purifiers? Is it here, the calorifier? We don't know. That's why going forward, you need some collaboration. There are things that you cannot do on your own, and you have to involve other people. But so that's where we see product service systems as making sense. And by applying them in the industry context, we see significant savings. But those savings depend crucially on the customer's ability to capture them. It's actually really simple. If your customers, whatever you might be selling on the PSS bazaar, whatever product service system you think that's going to make sense, if your customer is basically an idiot, he's not going to be able to make something out of it. He's not going to be able to use it in the proper way. So what I'm looking at is, and that's a key proposition, how do the customers improve, and how does the improvement of the customer affect the cost savings and the implementation benefits from product service systems. And this is taken largely, I work a lot with how the new digital capabilities, how do they affect? Because customers, as now digitization becomes a real thing, they start ramping up those digital capabilities. Well, what does that mean for product service systems? As they move to most cost-efficient structures, what does that mean for delivering, for us using our products in the most optimal way? And basically, there are quite a few questions that I don't know the answers to. As the ship owner becomes better at what he does, what does that mean for everyone else? Does this mean that he's going to service his products better, so moving to a most cost-efficient structure without sharing any of the spoils? Does it mean that big companies with supplier networks and R&D development and lots of business capabilities, are they going to get a slice of the pie? Are they going to be better and make money out of it? Or is it going to be smaller companies, local service providers, service companies with a mentality that they have to cover the customer's needs, otherwise they're going to disappear? Are they the ones that are going to benefit? And that's what my research is about right now. Where is how digital capabilities that leads to more cost-effective structures, how do they affect the development of product service systems, at least in the maritime industry? Now, I have another colleague, She's working more on the environmental part of it. I work more on the cost and the savings and the financial part of it. And she has her name is Louise. Louise has lots of experience as a climate consultant with focusing on carbon footprint of geographic regions, components and products with NEROS, and has been a PhD student since December 2013. Now, why am I talking about her and she's not talking about himself? Well, it's basically this guy's fault, because she's on a maternity leave and she couldn't be here with us today. But I've worked with Louise a lot, and what we have actually worked on, and it has also been a collaboration with other universities, is the development of guidelines on product service systems. We all know that I think it's pretty apparent that just because it's a PSS, that doesn't mean that it's environmentally benign, that it's better from the environment. And what does better from the environment mean in the first place? Louise has worked a lot, and we have worked a lot on developing guidelines, how to do this assessment, and how to evaluate what are you doing in the first place, but what are the impacts that you include. So, as I said before, Louise comes has worked a lot in environmental assessment, and she's an LCA expert as well, and has worked with quite a few companies, trying to develop these guidelines, and now moving forward, trying to test those guidelines. So, if you're interested in finding out how is your PSS performing, or if you're interested in, you have some companies that would be interested in finding out that, just please let them know, and in the next presentation, you're going to be filling this gap here. So, yeah, that'll be all from me. Thanks, guys.
Right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Vinicius. I'll also try to explain my 3-year PhD in 3 minutes. And my PhD is about measuring sustainability performance of eco-design implementation. And basically what we have is that many companies and academic studies report a lot of business benefits from eco-design, ranging from improved mechanisms to deal with the legislation and compliance issues, all the way to improved capability innovation, touching upon improvement of organizational brand and value and so on. So we can clearly see that all those benefits, they go way beyond the environmental dimension and the product perspective. So basically, on one hand, we have eco-design programs, eco-design implementation, and companies feeling that's the right thing to do, to go for it, to go for sustainability-related projects and so on. And on the other hand, we have the potential business benefits, right? And the question then naturally arises here is, what's really in there for me? What can get out of this programs? So the relationship's not always clear, and the major breakdown we see here in this information flow is basically the lack of a quantified business case, which takes a process-oriented perspective, which looks into the entire product portfolio. And that's why we're taking a process-oriented performance measurement perspective for this project, and not individual products. So the main idea behind my PhD is to build a business case simulator driven by the question, how does the development of eco-design capabilities affect corporate performance over time? So basically that will originate a business case simulation model, which the inputs are the current state of a company's eco-design program and the desired state, where the company is heading for, what are the ambitions for the company in terms of eco-design. And we measured that basically with the capability scale, with the 5 points, all the way from incomplete, the company is not applying certain practices, all the way to continuously improved practice. And the main outcome of that, the output of the model, would be a certain corporate indicator that the company is interested in with its behavior over time. So the company can play around, and decision makers can play around with the numbers and with the capability levels and with the eco-design practice to see what the effects in these curves and these behaviors over time would be. So that's basically it. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Glauco Mendes, and I'm from Brazil, where I'm professor at Federal University of São Carlos there. It's a public university there. And it's a pleasure to be here. It's my sabbatic year, so I will be here during 1 year, collaborating with Teams Group. And indeed, I'm professor in the Industrial Engineering department there, where I teach about quality management and service quality for graduate and undergraduate students. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about my research areas. First, some highlights about myself. My bachelor was business, but my master and my PhD degree were industrial engineering, working with new product development in healthcare industry and new service development in Brazilian banks. And during the last 3 years, I've been concentrating my research areas in 3 main domains. The first, servitization, how to a company makes the transition from product to service-oriented business model. PSS design methodology, how to develop a PSS. And another one is service innovation, how to develop service design, how to develop a service. And here, during this year, I will concentrate my research in the integration between product design and service design, considering 3 main dimensions. The process itself includes activities and information, the organizational aspects of such integration, and of course, methods and tools to assist that integration. Thank you very much. That's it. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. So with that, you could have a very good overview of all of the different research topics we are having here at DTU in the 3 different levels. So from a development project level, in the process level, at the strategic level, and also some research dealing with the 3 levels. My research is one of those as well, and I've been working with this on a strategic, tactical, and operational level of how companies can integrate sustainable innovation into their product development processes. We are going to deep in details into that. It's the maturity-based approach I'm going to talk about with you in the workshop. So we're going to have 1.5 hours to understand all of the how it works, the practices, and how it can be applied into industry. And this is basically the research that gave rise to a census that is a spin-out from DTU. And the basic idea of a census is to transfer the knowledge we are developing at the university to industry, and at the same time take the investment back to finance more research. In a way, we can have a win-win situation. We're going to explore that into details just after lunch. Lunch is waiting for you outside the room. The workshop starts at 12:45, so in 45 minutes. We are going to be downstairs, room S9, and if you have any questions about what it is, we'll be around, just ask us. So have a great lunch, and see you soon at the workshop.